Hello, everybody. Good evening. Bonjour, bonsoir. It depends where you guys are watching us from. This is Coach Janine and Coach Tina, my co-host, and we have the pleasure to have with us the Honorable Albert Iwondo, which is definitely somebody that we don't have to introduce anymore. He's definitely a servant leader that we have bring on the Umoja Global Network over and over. So I'm so excited again to be here with Coach Tina and the Honorable Albert Wono. How are you?
Good.
I am doing fine. How are you guys doing this evening?
Oh, good.
Doing good, absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So we will ask you guys if you can be able to share this podcast so many people can be able to join us because tonight we really have a special opportunity to be able to talk about one of these amazing subjects that we're really preparing to have a pre-launch for the book that we've been talking about for months now, The Power of Umoja. And we brought you really this person. He's a servant leader, like I said, the Honorable Alberti Wondo. He's somebody that I've known him for many, many years. He has in many capacity in different community has really shown leadership but also bring leaders together. So it was really to me no brainer to be able to bring somebody like him who can be able to speak about on the subject about the power of unity, which is the power of Umoja. And this is something that we will have a lengthy discussion tonight. So that's definitely have a pleasure to also have my co-host Coach Tina to talk about that because we want you guys to join the movement. Like we said, it's not just another book that we're putting together, but it's really definitely a movement that we want us to come together because it's really a time where we can be able to come together. That's where we can be able to accomplish more where we are united. And this is something that we have started for months now with other ladies. We really to invite them to come and to join us because we're going to launch this in November. So make sure that you join us tonight and you sign up. But definitely, we're going to talk about the power of Umoja. Coach Tina, you have any words?
Yes, I just welcome everybody to the show. Welcome, our guest. I'm not gonna say now. I don't want to mess your name up, so I'm just gonna say welcome.
That's fine. Thank you. Thank you, Coach
And
Tina.
so I wanted to. I start off by asking you just to tell us a little bit about yourself because I'm not that familiar with you. So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Albert Iwondo, like Coach Janine has said. So I have been involved in so many community work. Currently I serve as one of the congressmen in the Parliament of the Democratic Republic of the Congo in Central Africa. But I've been a pastor, being a teacher at high ed level, and
Mhm.
just a man that is eager to serve, eager to impact others, and then make a difference in this generation because we got so many of us that are getting lost into self-aggrandizement, into titles, into greatness at all costs, whereby we're not really impacting not just the next generation, but even the one we live in. So I'm just ready to go and ready to serve. So that's all I can say about myself. I can
Yeah,
send you
okay.
guys a lengthy bio, but we don't really need those things sometimes.
Okay. So tell us what unity means to you.
Well, unity means everything to me. When you when I come from a Christian background, for example, I'll tell you that what I believe in is that every human being is first of all the spirit that possesses a soul and lives in the body. So you are tridimensional. So for you to function, all those three parts of you need to come together. So unity is the essence of life. If you're not in harmony with yourself, with others, it's impossible for you to be able to function. It's impossible for you to be able to just be okay, as a human being. So unity represents a strong foundation to the human experience.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. So I was gonna ask you. So in the different capacities you have, so how do you incorporate unity into what you do, like as your especially as a pastor, because you got
Right.
to bring a congregation together. You have to. uh
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us a little.
Absolutely. Well, the best way to incorporate unity, to me, there's two concepts that I always keep in mind. I look at unity as a concept of diversity,
Mm-hmm.
because most of the time we fail to really apply our unity because we don't understand the fact of diversity. When we go back to the human body, for example, the hand function differently, the eye function differently, but all of them in that diversity, they have accepted to cohabit so you could be able to see the fruit. And then the second thing too is I look at unity as a foundation for functionality. If we're not unified, if we're not united, it's impossible to function. Most of the time when you go to a place and it's very chaotic, the first thing that is lacking in that place is unity.
Yes.
Because the left doesn't know what the right is doing. So then everybody is kind of hurting, in the process. So I've been able to apply unity as understanding that is a strong base for diversity. And it's also a very important requirement for functionality. We cannot function. I cannot function if I'm not united. I cannot function in the community where God has established me. I cannot function in the institution that God has elected me to be. And I cannot function in the community that I want to impact if I do not understand that unity is part of what makes that entire area run accordingly.
Oh, yes, yes, awesome. Yeah, I love that. So also, can you give 5 things that people can use to help encourage them to bring unity into their workplaces, into their community, into their church, even
Absolutely.
just not just give us 5 things.
Yes. I'll be gladly to do so. The first thing is selflessness. You cannot be selfish and want to be in the presence or within unity. So people need to understand that as human beings, we are called to a greater, assignment, which actually goes beyond us. So I got to be selfless. That's number one, if I want unity to work, right? And number two that I always do, and I'm not just giving this, is things that I do. Second thing is I pay the price for unity.
Oh, yes.
People sometimes don't realize what it takes to accept others because we always right? When it comes to me, I'm the one that knows it. I'm the one that can do it. So there is a price that need to be paid every time we're talking about unity. Number 3 is being able to accept others, because what we fail to understand in unity is the fact that when others also bring in what they have to offer, then we have a better opportunity to function. So don't just, I don't care how small you think the person is or how insignificant that could be, but you need to be able to open that door for acceptance. Now, the fourth thing that I usually do when it comes to unity is just being able to say to myself, it doesn't matter who gets the credit as long as the job is done. Because at the end of the day, what people want is true change. What people want is to see that there's been an impact that changed and transformed their lives. So whether you are more chasing to get the credit, to get a pat on the back, forget about it. You just say, let's get together, let's get it done. And then the last thing that I do as a man of faith when it comes to unity, for it to work, I walk in forgiveness. See, there is power in forgiveness because we are all set to make mistakes. But sometimes we cut people off in whatever circle you could be simply because we feel like what they've done or something they've made, they stumbled here or they did not do that. And then we feel like, okay, then they are done. No, I always walk in forgiveness and give people second, third, fourth, fifth chances. Because at the end of the day, we all want that. And then that's what, makes society work.
Yes. Awesome. Coach Janine?
Well, definitely, I can just keep listening to you guys. But if he can grace us to say the same thing he just said, those 5 things, and then kind of introduce himself again in French, so our French viewer can be able to also participate in our conversation, that would be great.
Well, I used to speak French. Now I only speak Spanish. So how are we going to go
So
about
you
it?
can speak in Spanish and French.
Hablo español solamente, no francés. Anyway, so
Okay.
let me reiterate the same things that I said in for my French speakers, brothers and sisters. Lorsque nous parlons de l'unité, il y a 5 choses que moi je fais qui m'aident beaucoup. en ce qui concerne l'unité. Et je peux les citer. La première des choses, comme je disais, je peux commencer à la fin, c'est le pouvoir du pardon. Il faut toujours donner aux autres une seconde, une troisième, une troisième chance afin qu'ils puissent faire quelque chose. La deuxième des choses, il faut accepter les autres. Si on n'accepte pas l'autre, il est impossible de marcher dans l'unité. L'unité, c'est quelque chose qui se passe lorsque on accepte les autres. Et puis la troisième des choses, on ne peut pas parler d'unité si on n'est pas en mesure de pouvoir s'oublier soi-même. On ne peut pas être égoïste. On ne peut pas seulement penser à soi et se dire que seul moi, je peux le faire. Il n'y a pas d'autres personnes qui peuvent le faire. Ça, c'est très, très important. Et la quatrième des choses, lorsque nous parlons de l'unité, il est impératif de comprendre que si nous n'acceptons pas le fait que il n'y a pas celui qui doit prendre le crédit. Donc, lorsque nous voulons faire un projet, lorsque nous travaillons dans une structure, c'est pas toujours important de vouloir recevoir le crédit, mais il faut deux fois laisser aux autres aussi de prendre le crédit pourvu que la tâche soit accomplie. Et la cinquième de choses que j'avais commencé avec, c'est de savoir que lorsque nous parlons en termes d'unité, il est impératif pour nous en tant qu'humains de comprendre que ce que nous avons à offrir n'est pas toujours ce qui est important. Les autres aussi peuvent offrir cela. Et ce sont les principes que j'applique et j'essaie de marcher dans l'unité dans n'importe quel cercle dans lequel Dieu, la société, la vie m'amène.
Oh, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much again. That was very good. Like I was
Coach
saying,
Tina, how was
guys.
my French?
Oh, I guess it was awesome.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
I definitely I want to make sure that people really understand why we really bring the Congressman and Pastor Albert on this platform, because I've known him more than 20 years plus. But the reason why he's really a key person in what we're talking about tonight is because of this book. And when I was thinking about some of the people that will be coming in, he definitely holds a very important key. Why? Because he's a servant leader. He's definitely a leader in so many capacity, but also those are the key. He just gave you five, but here are like tons. But I also see him, I saw him personally, really brought him, leaders together, which some of the leaders that he brought together, some of them are not easy to work with, but I've seen him really, transitioning, like really almost like forgetting about himself and really play that role as a liaison to be able to have this uncomfortable conversation. And I've seen him time after time. That's why I really think that tonight we are very blessed to have him, because again, he's somebody who really, really understands why it's so important for us to have that unity, because there's so many leaders who are really divided, and it's not just only the leaders who are suffering or being impacted by that, but also the church, or even though in the community. Also, some of the projects, I think, you have been very successful, but because we don't have A and Z person, because of the personal differences or different opinion, then I've seen projects that's really, people being devastated because of the project. So that's why I really, really want him to come here, because I've seen him really, helping people, helping leaders to be able to have those uncomfortable conversations so we can come as a unity and really get the job done. So I just wanted to make sure that people really understand that he really walked by this message. And that's why we are so blessed to have him in the project, The Power of Umoja. My question to you, Congressman, Pastor Albert, why do you think right now we should really pay attention to this notion of the unity, and not just any kind of unity, but leaders united? What are we missing if we don't come together as united?
Well, that's a great question, because at any time in society, the people that will make a change are leaders. And therefore, it's important for us to understand that unity allows us to borrow each other's gift to get the job done. So since I'm not going to be able to accomplish it by myself, I feel like we are at the junction where we really need to understand that it's about time we don't just do this because unity is a good thing, but we do it as a way for us to awaken our communities, for us to bring about real change into
Yes.
people's lives. And since we cannot do it alone, it's important to understand that a trade is being done, like I said, about borrowing each other's gift, about being able to empower each other so we could be able to bring about change. And then the word change, too, sometimes people get lost into it. Change simply means leaving people better off than you found them.
Ooh,
Change
I
simply
love that.
means that if I come to the scene before I came there, you were probably having some struggles. And
Mhm.
after you encountered me, after
Yes.
you've encountered what God has blessed me with, or
Mhm.
what I'm able to do as a servant, you are better off. And that's all. And then it's a progress, it's a work in progress. Therefore, at this junction, to answer your question, is so critical. And I insist we must borrow each other's gift, and the conduit by which we borrow each other's gift is through unity. If we're not united, we will never get the job done, because God did not place you here, and society is watching. Because that's what I was telling you guys. I mean, you can tell people about your titles, you can tell people about all that you can do, but people are more inclined to see what you have done for them. As an elected member of the Congolese uh, 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 House of Representatives, I understand that, because I had to do a campaign, for an entire month. I had to do almost like 52 villages, different conditions. But I had to go there and talk to the people and tell them my plans in the next 5 years. Now, I need to make sure that I'm bringing as many leaders as possible in those areas so we could be able to get the job done, because I'm not going to be able to do it by myself. So it's very critical for leaders to understand that it's about time. We know your title, sir, ma'am. We know what you tell people. We know how many books you've written, but what is the actual tangible impact into your communities? So that's all I can say.
And please, can you tell us again in French what you just said?
Oui, ce que je peux dire, la question était de savoir pourquoi l'unité est importante à ce stade où nous sommes en tant que des leaders. Je pense que l'unité est très, très importante à ce stade, parce que l'unité est la seule voie par laquelle nous allons amener le changement, un changement réel, un changement palpable dans la vie des communautés, dans la vie des personnes que nous sommes appelés à diriger. Parce que moi, je pense que les gens ne sont pas tellement attelés, attachés à nos diplômes, à ce que nous pouvons faire, mais ils veulent réellement voir le changement dans leur vie. Alors, si nous n'arrivons pas à emprunter les dons, les grâces, les capacités intellectuelles, psychiques, émotionnelles des uns et des autres, nous n'allons pas arriver à apporter le changement que les uns et les autres attendent. Donc, nous sommes à un moment très important où chaque leader doit se poser la question, est-ce que je suis en train de vouloir faire cet échange avec les autres leaders afin que nous puissions apporter les solutions aux problèmes de personnes auxquels nous sommes rédevables? Parce que lorsqu'on est leader, on est rédevable à un certain groupe de personnes, on est rédevable à une communauté. Et je disais, comme un élu du peuple au Congo, je devais faire cela pendant la campagne pour amener beaucoup de leaders sur le plan local, sur le plan de mon territoire, mais aussi continuer dans ces chemins-là de l'unité afin d'apporter le changement que le peuple attend ardemment.
Merci beaucoup. As a servant leader, Congressman Pastor Albert, as a servant leader, as a congressman, you have all this hat. What unity has really impact on your personal level, but how unity has changed you as a person in your profession and also in a church? How unity has changed you personally as well.
Well, that's a good question. Unity has really changed me in the sense that it's one of my core principles. It has become the core principle because I come to discover, as I was saying, that everything flows through it. We may not always call it unity, but it's there. Because when people talk about harmony in the group, when people talk about let's come together, let's have one goal, let's have one vision, this is the mission statement of the church, this is the mission statement of the business, this is our goal. You will see that in everything that we do in business, in churches, in communities, Unity is always there. And then when you look at the model of governing now, when we talk about democracy, for example, well, it's the power of unity. You need to be able to bring as many people as possible to a cause and then there get the job done. So it has really impacted me personally. And it has also helped me change my view when it comes to the human experience, because I'm not really fascinated by what I can achieve. I am more fascinated by how many people can achieve it with me.
Mhm.
It's not about me achieving it, because I might have the capacity to achieve it, but have I been, such a servant enough to enlarge somebody else's capacity so they can also get it done, and for them also to pass the baton along,
Yes,
because that's
absolutely.
how we'll be able to get it. So
Mhm.
unity has impacted me greatly, and I feel like I grow when it comes to that notion on a daily basis. When I'm like dealing with different experiences, because culturally speaking, and when you get to a certain environment, sometimes it requires for you to realize that, wait a minute, you got to be humble enough to say, let me take a step back. I might be Coach Janine here. I might be, the one in charge. But wait a minute. I need to learn here. And learning is not a way of you diminishing what you've already acquired. It's actually embellishing what you've already acquired. And then understand that it's imperative to realize through the process of unity that you cannot be a good leader if you're a bad follower. You got to be able to lead while following as well.
Mhm.
And all of that flows through unity.
Absolutely. Now, my next question is, as a pastor, you definitely had to learn how to kind of really be mold and kind of be really adapting, because as a servant leader, you were already a pastor back home, like when you were coming, and then here, the church in the U.S. or like in different places where you have been, how unity have really helped shaped your leadership.
Well, when it comes to this, the church circle, it's a bit different. It's a bit different because when you talk about a business, it's more like, oh, you're talking about what we call the second world or just the world. You come in, you give the principle, you care less in a certain way how people feel. It's a different common ground, it's a different type of environment. Now, when it comes to the church, unity comes with a greater price, because now you have to apply Christian values. And in applying Christian value, you are called now to more love, you are called to more compassion, you are called to more patience. So you understand that you are actually being shaped and molded while pressing for unity. And I'll give you a perfect example. As a preacher, sometimes I tell people all the time, I say, God was not going to bring angels down here to teach each other some of the principles of life. God will use each other. If he wants to teach me patience, he will cause one of the brothers or sisters near me to kind of take me off most of the time to see how patient I'm becoming. So, unity is shaped in the sense that for the church is that you need to look at a bigger picture. You need to know, especially if you are a Christian, in my case, we believe in the cross, we believe in redemption, we believe in salvation. So, which means that you need to understand that a price was paid for you to be saved. And unity is one of the ways by which you also repaying that same price within your small level, but bringing as many people as possible.
Please, French.
French. I used to speak French. So, ce que je disais en ce qui concerne l'unité dans l'Église, c'est un peu différent parce que l'unité dans le monde ou l'unité dans le milieu, par exemple, politique, dans beaucoup de milieux, nous ne faisons pas tellement attention aux sentiments des gens, nous ne faisons pas tellement attention à beaucoup de petits détails, mais lorsque nous venons à l'Église, nous venons dans la chrétienté, nous sommes obligés de faire attention à comment est-ce que les gens vont se sentir, faire attention aux sentiments, à différentes choses. Et ça nous pousse à pouvoir nous dire, attention, nous devons vraiment faire de notre mieux afin d'agrandir notre capacité d'accepter les autres et aussi réaliser, si on est chrétien comme moi, qu'un prix a été payé et nous devons aussi payer le nôtre à notre niveau en amenant un plus grand nombre à cette notion puissante de l'unité.
I know you're doing all the work, which will definitely you help us. Definitely,
I'll
as
send you the
we
bill.
thank you for the invoice. As we really, like we said, this book, it's really a movement. What would you say to somebody who want to join us in the project of the book, The Power of Umoja? What would you say to that leader, that servant leader who wants to join us? What would you say? And also, please, can you also describe in your chapter what would be the topic that you'll be talking about? Because everybody has a chapter. So, in your topic, what you're going to be addressing as a chapter?
Absolutely. So the thing I would tell to every leader that really want to join the movement, and I'm glad that we call it a movement because it's about time that we begin to move, literally, right? We're not stationary, we're moving. So what I'm telling every leader that can hear me this evening is it's about time you join this movement where it's less about egos, is what that's what I find about the ladies here at this movement, and the men and gentlemen. It's less about the ego, it's more about what can we do together. We understand that together we are a force. And when you become a force, you understand that it's not just you, but it's everybody that is part, it's every pieces that comes together in order to become the force. So you have battled alone for years, you have battled alone for different, times, but this is the opportunity. This Umoja is an opportunity for you to say, here is my contribution, use it. And I can guarantee you, you're going to see a greater return because if you join the movement, you become part of that force. And then as far as the chapter in the book and everything that is being done, my call is being to work mostly on humility. A leader must be humble, right? And then my chapter will talk more about how can I still have value while being humble? How can I still have value? How can I still be impacting, my generation while being humble? Because we have several leaders around the world that have shown us that humility does work. You don't always have to be arrogant. You don't always have to tell people any kind of way. Let your work speak for yourself. But sometimes we live in a generation where humility has been categorized as being a weakness, but it's not. It's actually a strength because the person humbling himself knows his or her capacity, but they're able to say, you know what? I'm not going to wear the hat. I'm going to go down and serve everybody. So it takes more to be humble than to be proud. So that will be my chapter, just to empower leaders as far as remaining humble. And instead of us, being so, I would say, proud of ourselves, but being able to let the work vindicate us. Let your work speak for yourself. I don't need to boast. If I can deliver, people will say, wow, what a leader. I don't need to tell people I'm a leader. I'll let them see my work.
Absolutely. Would you also say your topic, what would be your topic in French? And also, how can you invite some other leaders to join us in the movement in French, please?
Absolument. Je disais que c'est important pour nous de pouvoir amener beaucoup de leaders dans ce mouvement de Umoja. C'est une opportunité qui vous est donnée à vous en tant que leader de pouvoir joindre un groupe qui n'est pas tellement attaché aux égaux, tellement attaché aux choses qui font qu'il y a beaucoup de difficultés dans des groupes. Ici, j'ai trouvé des hommes et des femmes qui ne veulent pas tellement prendre le crédit pour tout, mais qui veulent quand même travailler. Alors, nous vous invitons à rejoindre ce mouvement afin qu'ensemble, nous puissions faire en sorte qu'il y ait des changements tangibles dans votre communauté, dans votre église, dans votre ville, parce que nous sommes éparpillés dans le monde. Mais nous avons un seul objectif, c'est de pouvoir, impacter cette génération et faire des choses qui sont tangibles. Alors, au cours de ce livre, mon chapitre sera plus sur l'humilité, parce que ma mission, je crois que c'est pour aider les leaders à demeurer humbles alors qu'ils sont en train de faire le travail pour lequel ils ont été destinés à faire. Et on n'a pas besoin de toujours croire que l'orgueil, c'est ce qui prime. Non, d'ailleurs, la personne qui est humble est une personne plus forte que la personne orgueilleuse, parce que l'humilité fait que la personne connaît son niveau, mais elle se rabaisse à un niveau donné afin d'être un serviteur d'un plus grand nombre. Donc, vraiment, je vous exhorte, je vous invite, leader, où que vous soyez, rejoignez ce mouvement et qu'ensemble, nous puissions nous lever et faire ce changement et apporter cette différence dans la vie des personnes qui sont en train de nous suivre en tant que des leaders.
Thank you so much again. My last question, and then I'm gonna pass the mic to Coach Tina. It will be just the title, "The Power of Umoja." What would you say to a leader who really struggling with the team and really having some trying his best, but definitely doesn't have the strategy, doesn't have the tools? How this book can be able to help them? The Power of Umoja.
Well, this book will be a great tool for them because the fact that they're already in that position of leadership says that somehow they qualify. And we don't want to be so braggadocious and say that this book will solve all the problem about leadership. But what we want to say is what is going to be an indispensable tool, because what we're going to do in this book is make sure that we give you what can help you to go to your next level. You got many levels as a leader, but you always have to get the tools necessary for you to be able to advance. And this book, The Power of Umoja, will be able to be that tool that will take you to the next level.
The French version, please.
Ce que nous pouvons dire, c'est que le livre qui est intitulé La puissance de Umoja, The Power of Umoja, c'est très important. Et pour tous les leaders, vous êtes déjà un leader, c'est-à-dire vous êtes appelé à des grandes choses. Vous êtes en train de conduire une communauté, vous êtes en train de conduire peut-être une église. Alors, nous ne voulons pas dire que ce livre sera l'outil qui va vous amener à tous vos niveaux. Mais c'est que nous voulons dire que ce livre sera l'outil qui va vous amener au niveau supérieur, au niveau suivant de votre carrière en tant que leader. Et nous croyons que ça sera un outil indispensable pour vous afin de devenir un leader meilleur que vous êtes. Et ça sera un outil formidable, je le crois.
Thank you again, Pastor Albert. Coach Tina, you have the mic.
I was going to say, this was a powerful conversation. You have given us so many nuggets, and I hope that everybody was listening and I know I gotten something from it. I know they got something from it because you have talked about so many areas that we all can improve on.
Yes.
And build our leadership, our servant leadership, even just leadership in any capacity we are holding a seat in, or it's just everything you said resonated. Because it's like because I'm a city council. I just became a city council. So just that what you have said, having to humble myself, and then you're around these different personalities, and you have to. Right. You have to. It's my first time.
Absolutely. And I salute your service to the people. You know, because public servants are people that I always now take my head off to. Because before I got into public service, I never knew it was this tough. So I salute you, and then I can only wish you the best. Serve the people. It's not gonna be easy, but it's not impossible. We can do it through the power of unity.
Yes, power. Invited some more people in to join in on me, so it's going to be, and by bringing those people in, the unity, that key, that unity, us joining forces together, it's going to make it much better to serve the people.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, yes. No, I agree, Coach Tina. I agree 100%.
Yeah. So, what is something that you can talk about? I know that I say that word always wrong. That Coach Janine say, just say it. I still say it wrong.
Umoja.
I don't know why I can't say that.
No. Anyway. What you have to take is when you're rehearsing it, rehearsing as a 3-part word. Umoja.
Umoja.
Take your time. There you go. You just gotta rehearse it. Take your time. Bam! It's gonna come.
Yeah. So explain. Tell us what that word means because somebody out there might not know what that means. Kind of explain that to us.
So Umoja comes from Swahili, basically one of our languages in Africa, and it simply means oneness. It simply means togetherness, and this is such a powerful word because a lot of people know the word Ubuntu, for example.
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it comes from our human experience. We are one as human. So we need to consider umoja within the same line, that it's actually togetherness, is oneness. And then in that oneness, there is power, because in that oneness, there's nothing we can achieve. Once we come one, when we come together, then it's impossible to really not achieve great things, because we have all the tools that is needed. So the word umoja simply means oneness, togetherness, and in a simple term, unity.
Unity. Yes, yes, that's what I wanted. Thank you. That's
You're
good.
welcome.
So, Coach Janine, you want to wrap us up?
Yes, absolutely. I just want to continue to invite everybody who listen to us tonight, because we really wanted like a different voices to come on, because you guys been listening for us for months. Me, Coach Tina, Dr. Sanji, Pastor Kelly, Dr. Lovella, Dr. Tammy. But definitely, it's always good to have also other voices, and especially for me, I couldn't think of anybody else than the Congressman after Pastor Albert, because I've really seen him working in unity in different opportunity and different communities. So it was really good to have him tonight. So please join us. Join if you don't have the link yet. You can inbox me, or you can inbox Coach Tina. Then we can be able to give you the link so you can sign up. You still have. We can extend it a little bit more. So we definitely have until the end of the month, because definitely we need to have all the chapter in so we can be able to launch in November. So make sure you have, we don't want you to wait until the end of the month. You can submit now your chapter, because it's between 1,500 to 3,000 words. So make sure that you submit to us, and you send your payment also as well together. So between the six of us here, we can be able to guide you to the right link so you can be able to sign up. Okay. Any last word, Pastor Albert, in English and French, please?
Well, I just want to thank you, ladies, Coach Tina, Coach Janine, for inviting me tonight. For me, it's always an opportunity for me to share. And I hope that somebody out there was able to receive at least something that will be able to empower them, because that's really what matters. And that's what I do. And I just want to encourage every leader out there. Don't give up, keep working on unity, and know that you might sometimes feel as a leader that people don't listen, people don't really easily embrace the unity and the concept you're giving. But in my small sphere of leadership, in the small years I've been a leader, I come to find out that sometimes people don't listen, but they're watching you, and they're
Yes,
also learning by watching you. But
Yeah,
yes,
we get so frustrated because they're not listening. Well, they don't have to listen all the time.
yeah.
Sometimes they watch you, and then you be like, wait a minute, you're doing it now? What happened? Because something happened. So I want to encourage leaders there. So je disais que je voulais remercier Coach Tina et Coach Janine pour l'invitation. Pour moi, c'est toujours important de pouvoir passer le temps à essayer d'édifier, de parler, d'échanger en ce qui concerne le leadership. Et je crois que ce soir, quelqu'un a peut-être reçu quelque chose. Et j'aimerais encourager tous les leaders qui sont en train de faire ce travail qui n'est pas facile. Et deux fois, en tant que leader, on est frustré, on se dit, mais les gens ne m'écoutent pas, il y a pas l'unité. Mais ce que j'ai compris aussi avec ma petite expérience de leadership, deux fois, les gens ne nous écoutent pas, mais ils nous regardent. Et en nous regardant faire, ils apprennent. Et après un certain moment, on est même surpris. Ah, tel a fait ça? Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé avec l'autre? Parce qu'ils sont en train de nous observer. En tout cas, je vous encourage et merci beaucoup pour cette opportunité qui m'a été accordée ce soir.
sorry guys, I lied. I said it was the last question, but I have one more, please. Uh, uh, Pastor Albert, when did you know that unity was uh, a crucial element to your leadership? But also, when did you know unity was the only solution that you really needed in your leadership in order for you to lead the way you're leading in French
Right.
and English?
Well, I knew it in a very, very early stage of my leadership, approaches, because I realized that it was difficult for me to get what I thought as a vision of what we need to do with the group just by myself, just by the fact that I tell them what they got to do. And I was expecting people to just embrace it right away
Mm-hmm.
because I know it's going to work. I know it's a brilliant idea. And then when I hit so many walls in the beginning, I realized, I said, wait a minute, something is missing. I shouldn't be able to tell people what need to be done. I need to get them to buy into that vision. And
Mhm.
for them to buy into that vision, we need to be united. They
Yes.
need to feel like they're part of it. So
Mhm.
that's when I realized that, wait a minute, I'm not going to do anything except I'm able to bring people together. And it has been able to help us have a building that is paid off for the church, that I no longer pastor here in Detroit, that
Yes.
is debt free. But
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not going to say the money came from my pocket alone, but I had to bring a coalition of people to
Yes.
Yes.
help them understand this is your house too. It's
Yes.
Yes.
not just the pastor's house. And
Mhm.
my name is not going to be on the wall.
Mhm.
Nobody's name is going to be there. It's going to be the name of God. So same thing when I went with the political, campaign. I told the people, every time they will call me, they say, well, we found you. You are our Moses. I said, stop right there. We're going to do this together. I've
Yes.
Mhm.
tried this Moses style. It never works. So
Yeah.
the only thing that it works is you do your part. I do mine. Of course, as a leader, I'm standing a little bit ahead of you, but
Uh,
that doesn't make me a Superman. I'm
yeah.
still a man like you, and we're going to get it together. So
Yeah.
that's what I was able to do. And that's what I was able to discover. And ever since, I don't get involved in anything except this unity. It starts with me. I need to be in harmony. It starts with the group I'm leading. It starts with the people around me. If there's no unity, count me out because it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Mhm. In French, please.
In French, OK. Je disais que ce que j'ai découvert avec l'unité, c'était un peu trop tôt lorsque j'ai découvert que l'unité était vraiment une notion très importante. Au début, je voulais dire aux gens, leur faire partager ce que moi je croyais qui devait être fait. Mais à la longue, j'ai compris que ça les intéressait pas parce que bon, c'était ce que moi je voulais dans le groupe, dans le cercle dans lequel nous étions en tant qu'un leader, afin qu'ils puissent me suivre. Mais dès que j'ai compris cela, j'ai changé de stratégie. Je les ai fait partie de la vision. Donc, je me suis arrangé de leur dire, écoutez, ce n'est pas ce que moi je veux faire seul qui est important, c'est ce qu'on doit faire ensemble. Et je me suis battu et j'ai compris que l'unité, c'est une clé indispensable. Et dès ce jour-là, de ce moment-là, si je ne suis pas en harmonie avec moi-même, s'il n'y a pas l'unité en moi, s'il n'y a pas l'unité dans ce que nous sommes en train de faire ou dans ce que je suis appelé à faire, je ne veux pas faire partie de ce groupe-là. Et je l'ai fait pas seulement dans le milieu chrétien, au niveau de l'église locale à Détroit ici, que je ne suis plus le pasteur, mais la bâtisse est payée, il n'y a pas de dette parce qu'on a amené tout le monde ensemble. Et même dans la vie politique, ça a été la même chose pour la campagne, même dans la gouvernance. J'amène tout le monde afin que nous puissions faire le travail. Ce n'est pas mon travail, c'est notre travail à nous tous.
You have heard from the expert of unity, and he's really I mean, he's a student of life for sure. He always, say that to me. So I really, this has been my pleasure, Coach Tina, to be able to interview, the Congressman, Pastor Albert, and he's
Yes.
part of this. I mean, it's really a grace for him because he's a busy guy, but he definitely, graced us with his presence to be here tonight. He should
Yes.
even be waiting for the invoice. But I'm saying this is something that he really,
Janine, Coach Janine, that invoice is not to me, it's to the people of Lukolela. You're actually helping my constituent get a little bit better. So sign that check with all gladness. It's not going to my pocket. I'm serving the people.
well, I know that you're serving the people for sure, for sure. And it's really a blessing for us to have been, really part of the movement
Thank you.
and joining the Power of Umoja Book project. So you have listened, for Coach Tina, Pastor Albert, and myself. We really want to hear your voice, your story. So please join us. Don't wait to the last minute so you don't have to miss the deadline because we definitely not gonna change no more deadline because we come at the end and we need to publish this book so people can have that in their hands as
Yes.
to use as a tool to be able to lead, the team, the church, and the community as well. So thank you so much for listening tonight through the Power of Umoja book and also here at Umoja Global Network with my co-host Coach Tina and Pastor Albert. Make sure also you subscribe to our channel so you can be able to have all the updates videos when we upload them. Okay. God bless you and see you next Sunday. Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye,
Bye.
Coach Tina. Bye, Coach Janine.
Bye.
Stay
Yeah,
safe.
bye.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Yeah. God bless.